Shalom, it's Kalayla Kelly, your Irish Jew, and tonight I'm looking at a story about a Turkish man in the United Kingdom who burned a copy of the Quran in front of the Turkish consulate recently. Hamit Koskan was found guilty of religiously aggravated public order offence because the judge felt he was partly motivated by hatred of actual Muslims, not the Quran and the religion itself. And this is the man here. Hello, sir. And he was given a fine, and he was found guilty of offending and provoking people, and was motivated at least in part by hatred of Muslims. And the problem I have with this is that he didn't say anything about Muslim people. He didn't call anybody to violence. He didn't say, let's go and attack anybody. Let's go and attack people of this faith. Let's injure them. Let's hurt them. He didn't call for any violence. He didn't express any wish to hurt people. All he said was, F-U-C-K, this religion. This religion is a religion of terrorism, and its book is burning. Obviously, personally, as someone who is somewhat religious myself, who believes in God, who believes in Hashem, who believes in the Almighty, who believes in books, even if it's Mein Kampf, I would never burn a book. I would never burn a book. To me, that is an act of desecration of knowledge, of something that has been put onto paper, words that have been put onto paper. That's just me, and I certainly wouldn't burn religious or spiritual textbooks. Not necessarily because of how important they are to the people. People's feelings are allowed to be hurt. People's feelings are allowed to be uncomfortable. That's within each human's soul, their own heart. It's more the principle of, if there's information in the form of a book, I don't believe in burning it and destroying it. I don't believe in that. However, I respect this gentleman's right of free speech. And as far as I'm aware, in the UK, there is this thing called free speech. I mean, there's not really. Hi, Starmer. How you doing? Thrown any more people in jail over some tweets? Gotten rid of any more rapists to make room for those horrible, mean, tweety, hurdy word people? Koskan, who is half Kurdish and half Armenian, I mean, those are two people who have suffered a lot under Islamic extremism, so he knows what he's talking about, yeah? He argued that he was protesting peacefully. He didn't physically hurt anyone. He didn't call for violence against anyone. And that burning this book was freedom of expression. And I have to say that if somebody was in front of the Israeli embassy and burned a copy of the Torah, I would be disgusted. I'd be horrified. I think it's gross. But I wouldn't expect them to necessarily go to jail. If they're saying that this book is a book of terrorism, this is a book of evil, or this or that, then that is an expression of the actual book. Hi, plane. But nowhere did he call for attacking Muslims. And there is a difference between the believer, the person, and the text, or the religion, or the theocracy, which I believe in any secular democracy is absolutely up for debate, absolutely up for criticism, and in his case, absolutely up for destroying. He's making a statement. This is how I feel about this religious text. If you're a secular government, you should allow that, because the rule and the freedom of religion also conversely should mean the freedom from religion. You cannot have freedom of religion and say, hey, anybody can choose what they want, if you're not allowed to then say, well, I don't choose that religion. I don't like that religion. You have a right to say no. You have a right to say no. It's a bit like with the gender critical movement and the trans ideology. You want to identify how you want people to accept that. Okay. People have a right to go along with you and believe you and accept your ideas and accept the way you feel about your own body and your own identity. But get this, they also have the right to disagree with your interpretation and to say, no, I don't actually believe in you. I don't believe in this particular ideology. I choose, in this example, to be gender critical. That's what people like J.K. Rowling have done. They've said, no, thank you so much. Don't agree. You are allowed to disagree. And in my religion, in Judaism, you absolutely are allowed to disagree. The Jews disagree with Hashem all the time throughout the Torah. All the time. There's argument, there's debate, it's diabolical, it's used with words and language, argument. Abraham argued with God. Moses argued with God. It's part of our tradition. I was really surprised when I went to dinner with a lot of Jews and a rabbi one time, and I was shocked at how how everybody around the table was kind of not disrespecting the rabbi, but arguing, disagreeing with him, asking him questions, being like, well, what? I don't agree with that. What is that? And I was shocked because I came from a more Catholic background where you do not argue with a priest. You don't argue with the hierarchy of God's representation on earth. So that was mind-boggling to me when I was in that context. But that's part of Judaism. It's part of that joke of have, two rabbis and you end up with 3 opinions, right? So that argumentation, that dialogue is part of Judaism. And I think that's what makes it so exciting and so powerful and relevant. I've noticed, with all due respect, at least in its modern iterations, that Islam seems to be particularly strict. Not allowed to argue, not allowed to disagree, not allowed to say, well, I don't believe in that, or I don't agree with that, or I'm not happy with that interpretation. There seems to be a lot less fluidity to the ideas and to the arguments. I'm not saying there isn't nuance. I'm saying it seems to be really hard for lay people to disagree with things or to say, no, I don't agree with that, or why do we believe this, or why do we believe that? I think the fact that the UK has a court that sides with the religion rather than freedom of expression is extremely troubling. I think it's another example of how the United Kingdom is going down a very dark path, as it has in its history before. This is a really dark path, and there should be no such thing as blasphemy laws in the UK. Hello UK. Do you remember when you used to be Catholic and then the Protestants came around and you had these massive decade-long wars? Do you remember that part of your history? And you had a bit of civil war and you had fights and you had this and you had that and religious extremism and persecution. Do you remember that? It didn't happen too long ago. That's part of your history. You don't want to go back to that. You have freedom of expression now. You have free speech. You have modernity. You have secularism. You have atheism and agnosticism protected under law, just as much as any religion is. The freedom to believe is the freedom to not believe. So why the hell are these mincy-ass judges going down this path of blasphemy laws? It's disgusting. It's shameful. It's completely wrong that the United Kingdom is punishing someone for their freedom of expression. Now, if they were aggravating and assaulting someone in the street, great, of course, charge them with an offence, with assault. But guess what? This guy, Koskin, he didn't assault anybody actually physically. He just assaulted an idea, right? But one Muslim guy in the street apparently got so upset about it that he attacked Koskin. Now, allegedly, he got away with it, whereas Koskin was the one that was punished. So here you have the United Kingdom saying, you're not allowed to criticise ideas, you're not allowed to express antagonistic feelings towards theological arguments and ideas, but you are allowed to physically assault people. The UK is lost, and it's been lost for a few years now. It is under war. There is a war against the people and the values that once made it Great Britain, great country, a great nation. And it is going down a hellish path that is not going to end well. So I wish this man luck. Again, I don't agree with burning books, certainly not religious books, but I don't agree that he should be punished for that. And I don't think the guy who attacked him should get off scot-free either. Yeah? People over books, how's that idea? Okay, see ya, bye.